Fear, despair, betrayal, desire, rage, freedom, war. This is Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan is no doubt my favorite anime of all time, and up there in one of my favorite entertainment mediums of all time. Why? Is it because it's dark, gritty, plot-rich, lore-rich? To be honest, I don't know the specific reasons, but it's definitely a combination of a lot of factors. So this being my favorite anime of all time, I have the esteemed tradition of rewatching it start to finish at least once a year. I've done this for the last 3 years, and I've noticed an interesting cycle whenever I rewatch Hajime Isayama's work. When one begins the journey of rewatching Attack on Titan, Season 1 is usually filled with so much optimism, so much excitement, especially if you haven't touched the IP for over a year. You notice hints and foreshadowings that made no sense at the time, but make so much sense now. The sound and music of the opening intro waves a positive sense of nostalgia. It just feels so right. It feels so... Then you remember just what kind of anime this is. And you remember the reason Eren's mother is getting eaten by a titan is because...
On your feet, Dad.
Once Shiganshiga District falls and the outer wall is breached, we are taken to the 104th Cadet Corps. Here's where we're brought to a lot of iconic and beloved characters that we missed. Like Potato Girl, though some memories are darker than others. It's nice, it's optimistic. This is the so-called good old days, though the mysterious circumstances of Eren's father still gnaw at you.
Damn you! This is the only way! I'm making any sense!
It's just brief glimpses and fuzzy memories. However, you have watched this before and you know what's going to happen. Details like Eren's Titan power healing him after taking a nasty blow to the head, and Eren explaining his story to the two Titans that blew his home.
Aren't the two of you originally from Shiganshina?
Yeah, that's right.
Then you should know firsthand how terrifying they are. Why on earth would you want to be soldiers?
Then Marley makes its second attack, but instead of advancing to the next inner wall, the transformation of Eren makes them look visibly shaken.
Look, Titan's a Titan.
From here, things will never be the same. The feeling you get here is excitement, that you can finally see Eren in his Titan form. A bit mindless and unprepared, but still badass all the same. And it is here we are introduced to one of many crazy commanders we have in the show. Pixis and his all-great gamble of sealing the Wall of Trust. It pays off. With complications though, and Eren is promptly arrested. We know that Rod Reese was in need of the Founding Titan, and I am sure by now he knew that Eren had it, right? Assuming he knew who Grisha was. Correct me if I'm wrong. I was just confused as to why the military police didn't just take him by force or sway the court case in their favor. Because even if Rod Reese wasn't certain that Eren had the Founding Titan power, he at least knew that he had a Titan power, because the Attack Titan wasn't present on the island until Grisha came, and I'm sure they knew that. Though I think the reason it was made difficult for Rod to acquire Eren is because Darius Zackley had intense beef with the royals and MPs of the capital.
Whenever you eat, you'll be digesting your meals from the bottom up. As always, you'll wear the finest of clothes, but only from your feet to your knees. And so you don't get lonely, I'll take you out once a week to be paraded to the public.
In episode 16, we get a proper introduction to Commander Erwin, and he holds no punches when talking about the survival rate of the scouts.
Over the course of those 4 years, we've incurred losses in excess of 60%. 60% in 4 years. That's a horrifying figure.
though we were introduced to him earlier, this is where we truly begin to remember the type of person he is. But of course, the main cast joins up, everyone except Annie. The 57th Expedition Beyond the Walls was eye candy for nerds like me on several fronts. Seeing Irwin's brilliant formation of keeping as many of his soldiers alive is just so fascinating for me. But it wouldn't be long until the black smoke begins to make its way deeper. And these guys cooked, but they just had to face a Marley child soldier. So now you wait anxiously. You know how it's all going to end out. But you wait for the moment Eren and Annie fight in the forest of big trees. And the show once again reminds you that no one is safe.
Out the Levi squad's most elite soldiers one by one.
It's brutal. It reminds you of what's more to come in the future. One thing about Eren Yeager in the first season, you realize he's way more impulsive than you remember. Because at this point, your recent memory of Eren was him in season 4, when he had lost most of his spark, and he looked like an empty shell being carried by the duty of hatred. When you see a more sensitive Eren that denies to believe his comrade like Annie could ever betray him.
I'm going to gamble too, and here's my wager! Really? Are you sure you're not having second thoughts? Doubts about Annie?
Eren!
It's her, the female Titan. No matter how much you don't want to believe it, that won't stop it from being true.
In our hearts, we knew.
Eren feels the first seeds of betrayal. In my season 1 rewatch, I found Eren more annoying than I remembered him to be. Almost too naive, but that's because the concept of orchestrating the genocide of an entire human race just to get some resources hidden on the island is absolutely unthinkable to Eren. It's easy to place the blame of the world problems to giant human-eating monsters, because you can excuse them for being mindless and acting on pure instinct to devour humans. But if it's another human orchestrating the outcome to devour your people, what then? The Beast Titan was terrifying first watch, but here, on your second watch, it's just an indication that Marley is getting desperate, sending their war chief to ensure the plan actually goes smoothly. And what an introduction it was. Season 2 begins rather grim and very confusing. I remember forgetting a lot of aspects about Season 2 because it's mashed in the middle of the first season and the best ever season, which is Season 3. So there's a lot of details that get shadowed at first. But as grim as how Season 2 began, just the same as Season 1 with the walls getting breached, it still begins with a sense of positive energy in the sense that there's togetherness, The 104th Cadet Corps is still kind of viewed like a family. And how in the beginning of Season 1, you see Eren's family. In the beginning of Season 2, you begin with the Cadet Corps family. Even though things are grim. But this season truly reminds you how dangerous the Titans are. Abnormals, Night Owl Titans, creepy smiles in the basement. But nothing tops the faces of Reiner and Bertolt seeing their boss catching them slacking on the job, even though the job involves murdering millions of so-called island devils. And Zeke did this knowing he was endangering the entire mission, because if Ymir hadn't transformed, Bertolt was ready to go full nuke on the place. So I really wonder what Zeke was doing, or maybe he hadn't realized they were there, because they did leave Marley as young children. So it's not crazy to assume he didn't spot them at first. Still, he was very reckless, but I think Marley Warriors was the least of his concern as he was after the coordinate. Now we go back to that dread feeling. The scouts on top of the walls. It's silent. the admit of betrayal is done in such a casual manner.
Hard to find. I'm the armored titan.
Like it's so insignificant. Oh my god, the crows are back. If you hear crows, then just know this is their time to shine.
Where did I let myself devolve? Aaron! Run away! Damn you! You traitor!
Eren is captured, so is Ymir, and you begin to get flashbacks of how bad things can get. But no, we're not there yet, so you give yourself more hope, because Erwin is here to fix the mess. Now Eren finally comes to terms with this situation. He finally snaps, but not fully, but he does snap. Enough to know that people lie.
Psychotic mass murderers who snuffed out the lives of countless people that never did you any wrong. Don't you think I'm aware of that fact? I don't need you shoving it down my goddamn throat! Then stop acting like you've got any right to feel sorry for yourself! We're living in a hell you two created!
This rant is cut short, as the smoke screens of the scouts and a few wall regiments close in on them. Ymir's decisions to snatch Historia sets Reiner and Co at a disadvantage, and so the chase goes on, and Mikasa is not happy about it.
Advance!
This scene is full of a sense of hopelessness. Everyone on the ground with no way to defend themselves against Titans, also no Levi, which already makes things worse. And then Eren's founding Titan powers finally kick off. However, the season still ends in heartbreak as we lose a few people. And now that the enemy has been identified, we know things will only continue to get worse. And with Erwin losing his arm, safe to say he's no longer in his prime. And this is the grim reality of our island devils. Season 3 begins very positive, more than the previous 2 seasons. We finally have the new Levi squad. Things are lighthearted, jokes are funny, and everyone is...
That was close. What if they had caught us? Would they rip our nails off?
It seems the King of the Walls has become alarmed with the activation of the coordinate, wielded by someone who is not of royal blood. And the consequences of such an action are one we are all very aware of. Yeah, and also Armin experienced this.
Yeah, so nice. Let me hear how much you like it. Well, how's that? Feels good, doesn't it?
The introduction of Kenny is always eye candy for the animation aspect. Seeing is always beautiful to see. A lot of people complained about the first part of Season 3 having little Titan action, but I loved it because it showcases the deep roots of corruption within the walls. Something about that is just so relatable to today's world. Persecution of the Ackermans, the way Rice handled Historia's mother, the royals all knowing the truth about the walls and the power of the founding Titan. They cooperated with the coup because they believed Rod would just wipe their memories and everything would go back to normal. The false king and even the truth about what Eren's father did. The first part of Season 3 keeps reminding you how close you are to the climax of the show. And this is where we really begin seeing the corrosion of Eren as a person. He doesn't believe he should live anymore. He's still sensitive, but it feels more in the region of despair rather than rage. He was ready to die for Historia to gain the founding Titan. Pastor Nick and his torture is also something I find incredibly interesting. But we will get back to that when I start talking about Season 4. Ultimately, Eren is saved and Rod turns to an oversized turkey, but in a show of poetry, Krista No, Historia delivers the final blow that gives her the legitimacy to become the Queen of the Walls. And now that anxiety comes back once more. The feeling that you're near to the part that hurts.
Do you have even the faintest damn clue what you're doing?
It's time to retake Walmaria and Shiganshiga. It's time to see what's in the basement, and it's time for that crow to stop screaming at my window. This hurts. This part, before anything happens, you know that Erwin is going to die. This hits more because he is my favorite character in the anime. This is my favorite arc on Attack on Titan, and my favorite anime arc of all time. Season 3 Part 2 for me is peak AOT. Drama, twists, actions, heartbreak, false hope, shock, anger, and finally, acceptance. There's not much I can say about this arc. Whenever I reach this part in the rewatch, I'm in silence. Even though you know what's going to happen, your emotions still hit like it's the first time experiencing all of this. In fact, it's worse, because the fighting feels futile. The Colossal Titan is burning the district, and the Beast Titan is hurling rocks. Eren is more calm and reserved, sure, but there's nothing he can do against 3 powerful Titan shifters. Wait, 4, including Peak Finger. And wow, I knew Reiner was Isayama's favorite character, but damn, this season really proved it as much. Now, for the decision that hurt the most. One wants to see the sea, the other wants to prove his father right. I'm biased, and my bias wanted Levi to choose Erwin, and it still does. But I do admit that the right decision was to choose Armin, because a vessel without purpose is as useless as a still rock. Check my video about purpose to see why Erwin would have been useless after uncovering the secrets of the cellar. So, Armin is revived, and we say goodbye to the worst devil on that island.
And as we ride to certain death, we trust our successors to do the same for us! Because my soldiers do not buckle or yield when faced with the cruelty of this world! My soldiers push forward! My soldiers scream out! My soldiers rage!
Zeke and Peak manage to escape with plot armor Titan, and the secrets are revealed. There's a cold silence. Season 4 is on the horizon. Unlike other seasons, Season 4 begins without a sense of optimism. It's a different studio, so now the animation looks different, the art style looks a bit different, it looks darker, grittier. The naivety that Eren had is now onto Gabi. And trust me, these two are the same, but there's a difference. The reason Eren seemed better is because his naive anger was towards Titans, and he believed all humans are on the side of humanity. It's the same for Gabi, but her anger is towards people, her own kind, and those that aren't Marley. She believes the right side of humanity is Marley. At this point, you're only waiting for the introduction of Eren, older and more detached from reality. He's like a stranger. In fact, he is a stranger to us. We feel like Eren has forgotten about us and who he is, but this is Eren. It's always been him.
Kill them. Every last one.
It's just instead of slaughtering Titans, he wants to slaughter someone way worse than Titans. He wants to slaughter greed, and unfortunately, the disease of greed is infected every human on the world. And as one of the few positive moments of this season, to us the viewers, the Island Devils are our family. So when we see them assault Marley after they declared war, you can't help but feel proud. In your mind you say, don't underestimate my devils, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. This season reminds you just how worse things can and will become. Any irritation you had for Gabi is now turned to hatred. She just killed a member of your family.
I'll have to tell Batman. There's been a death in the family.
And you ask yourself, why has Eren changed so much? You wish to go back to the good old days, training in the 104th Cadet Corps. Back then when you only had to worry about Titans. After Eren's declaration of war, there is no more hope. You know exactly what's going to happen. Out of all the seasons, Season 4 oftenly has the most detailed memories, but only the first half. Things get fuzzy after the rumbling begins. Now remember when I told you I'd get back to Pastor Nick's torture from Season 3? One of the soldiers told Hanji this.
There's an order to these things. Perhaps it's a law of human nature. When one's time is over, another must take on the role that they used to play. Best of luck, Hanji.
And now that Hanji and their crew are effectively the ones in control of Paradise, they understand the tactics of the old king. Should they tell the people about Eren and his plan, Hanji is now doing the very thing the old king was doing.
Ask the MPs.
Hanji, Eren Yeager's victory over Marley has given Eldians like us a future. A future where our people have the right to exist. If that's the case, then it's only right that every Eldian in Paradis should have a voice in how Yeager is handled.
As a scout, you said your job was to explore and report your findings to us taxpayers.
Keeping secrets for the sake of order. The people don't trust the new guys on top. It's the same thing all over again, just different people at the top. And before the scouts have any time to think, Zachary is dead. The first time watching Season 4 leaves you in awe, but the second time is a constant cloud of despair onto you, waiting for the inevitable. Gabi and Falco's journey on the island is infuriating to watch, but satisfying at the same time. When Gabi finally realizes who her enemy is, and that is everyone, unfortunately. The Eldians on Marley and concentration camps are hated by both the Eldians in the walls and all other races. And she's in deep enemy territory. And while she befriends the family of the Eldian she shot, it will only hit harder when it's revealed to her she killed someone who had a family. And for the first time, Gabi is facing the consequences of her actions.
Your actions have consequences! Consequences that affect other people!
When Levi is gravely injured by a thunder spear near to death, the clock, the silent ticking time bomb in the background only grows louder and larger. The rumbling nears closer. But now that you've accepted what's to come, and you get reminded of the lengths Eren went to ensure his plan succeeded, what shocked you in the first watch, now in your second, gives you a larger appreciation of how Isayama writes his story. And just as Eren's father said,
"You're here watching me now, right, Zeke? From here on out, nothing is going to go the way you'd hoped. Eren will get everything he wants." "What do you mean?"
But there's a feeling in you. You want Eren to succeed. But why? It goes against what is right, and you want him to succeed because you remember the post-credit scene when LDA gets bombed. Though you know Eren won't fully succeed, he will only prolong the inevitable, but all good things come to an end. There's a few more sacrifices here and there. Eren and the so-called heroes, he's as beautiful as the first time you saw it. Attack on Titan, on a rewatch, follows the cycle of love. All the ups and downs with falling in love with someone, the initial optimism and excitement, how each cycle begins positive like each season apart from the fourth season. A lot of pain, a lot of hope, but at the end, the culmination of love is to grieve And to grieve greatly is to have loved truly. So the grief or sadness you feel at the end of Isayama's story is a testament to just how good the story is.
Ashamed to show their faces.
Watch your tone, Jabari. Ooh, 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 ooh.